everyone. I'm going to give it a few minutes before we start because obviously it's not quite 7:30 yet. I'm looking for a clock. Is there a clock in this place? Oh yeah. If you may be struggling to find me, hopefully you'll see that a little live has popped up. Please let me know if you are here. Hello everyone, hello everybody who's joining. You can share this out as well if you would like to tag anybody into it. Right, I'm getting a lot of people popping in, so that's great. Hopefully you're all seeing me. Can you all hear me properly? Hopefully so. Now, if you have got any questions about anything that I am saying, if there's any questions about any of the things that I tell you and I can't get back to you straight away on here, then please just put those comments in the box below and I will get back to you later. There's quite a few things that I want to get through tonight with you all. I'm just gonna see if I can. No, okay, just stop pressing the buttons, Marie. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing this workshop tonight is all for sleep purposes. So a lot of you may well be experiencing sleep issues at the moment. You may also be experiencing anxiety and depression as well, and that kind of all coincides with each other and it does all play a massive part in each other. What I aim to do in this workshop today is I'm just going to show you a few tips, show you a few physical things that you can do for your help yourself, and also talk you through some sort of homeopathic, holistic remedies that you can use yourself at home. And it's important that I say to you all that I am not a trained herbologist. I haven't done any herbal, training as such. I have got knowledge of herbs and I do make herbal teas. And I am going to suggest some things that you can go and buy yourself from the shop and you can do some things with. But obviously it is entirely up to you to check for your own allergies and any issues that you may have medicinally with taking anything. Obviously that's all up to you. The first thing that I am going to go through is some very obvious things that, well, I think they're obvious. It doesn't mean everybody else does, but they are things that are commonly spoke about when people say that they do have sleep issues. So the first thing would be blue light glare. So you can probably see that I've got a bit of light going on here. So this is just what they call a selfie light. Now, that blue light that it gives off does come off on a lot of other products, such as your mobile phone light, your television, computers, laptops, and this blue light can affect our circadian rhythms in our brain, which are responsible for our sleep patterns. Now, this affects our brain by triggering melatonin, not triggering the melatonin, making us believe that it's still daylight, etc., which then interrupts our normal sleep pattern. So by minimizing our interaction with these sort of objects late in the evening or at night, it will possibly help you sleep a lot better. Though it's very easier said than done, because we all like to have a look at our phone, don't we, prior to actually going to bed. However, if you look at your phone and then you pop it to one side or even pop it on the other side of the room, before you actually get cozy down in your bed at night, give it a good 20 minutes so your eyes can readjust. Now, you may well sometimes notice that if you've been looking at your phone a long time in bed, then you turn it off and you've got all your lights up, you may sometimes almost see like a bit of a flashing behind your eyelids, and that's because of this light. Now, that does really affect your rhythms and your sleeping pattern. So that is a key thing, to try and minimize any sort of electrical activity about half an hour before bedtime. So that can also mean having certain things turned on in your room. So if you have got a computer in a corner and you are able to completely turn it off, then ideal. Same with things like televisions. Now, I've got rid of my television and my computer out of my bedroom and my sleep has been a lot better. I know it's not easy for everybody to do that, but it does really cut down on all the sort of positive ions as well that these things give off in a room, and that can really affect your sleep pattern. It can also affect things like your skin and your hydration levels too. So really take notice of getting rid of these devices if you can out of your room for at least half an hour prior to you wanting to fall asleep. So the other thing is what I would say, quite an obvious thing, but it's also quite an important one, is caffeine. Now, very much so, we all love a good bit of caffeine, most of us do. Now, caffeine is classed as one of the world's most regular, normal drugs that we all take and absorb into our bodies. And not only can it affect our sleep pattern, it also affects our ability to make sound decisions, and it can affect almost our physicality as well. So some people find if they don't have things, they almost feel a bit jittery if they don't have caffeine. Now, for prolonged usage, your body gets so used to it that your normal rhythms of sleeping is completely affected. So yes, a couple of cups of tea or coffee or Diet Coke, whatever it is, anything like that, yes, a couple a day aren't a massive issue. But when you're having maybe 5, 6 or plus, which some people do, and I know I used to myself, they really, really can have a massive impact on how you sleep at night. They can also affect things like migraines. Like I said, they can make you physically feel like you've got the jitters or almost palpitations as well. So it's a really another key one that you really should focus on about kind of cutting back, especially later on in the evening and the day, because it really can have quite a detrimental effect on your sleeping pattern. The one thing that I'm going to go into now is a little bit more of the sort of holistic witchy side of things. Now, you may need a bit of a pen and paper for this. The one thing that I know everybody probably has heard of before is good for sleep is lavender. Now, lavender oil, lavender herbs do have a profound effect on helping people feel more rested, more relaxed, and a little bit more sleepy. Now, lavender oil can be purchased through many shops online and many shops locally as well. The purer quantity, it will cost you more money, but that's the thing, it's pure and it is a better quality and it will have more of an effect. It will also mean that you use a lot less. So you buy cheap, you buy twice basically with things like oils. So your essential oils that I really recommend that you would have in your sleep repertoire would be lavender oil, clary sage and chamomile. And what you can do with those as well is, it's ideal with lavender especially, maybe a couple of drops on your pillow at night. You can also use a couple of drops. Lavender can be put on the skin. It's fine as it is on the skin. A couple of drops on your hands and you can really inhale it. Put a couple around your temples, around your ears, anywhere that you're going to smell that fragrance really potently. You can also put it in an oil burner, but obviously be aware if you're using a burner and you're likely to fall asleep, you don't want that candle left on. But the thing is, you can blend these oils and maybe make yourself almost like a bedtime massage oil that you can use. It can even just be like an oil that you use almost just for hydrating your skin, but actually has very good sleep-inducing properties too. So what you could do, if you've got some lavender oil, some clary sage oil and some chamomile oil, you can then make your own blend of sleep time oil. So what you would need is a carrier oil. So a carrier oil is either grapeseed, coconut oil, almond oil, olive oil, any sort of mixing ingredient such as that. You can use things as well like evening primrose oil, which is particularly good for hydrating the skin. If you measured out 20 mils of your carrier oil and then put just 2 drops of each of the essential oils, so 2 of lavender, 2 of clary sage and 2 of chamomile, mix that all up and keep it in an airtight container. You would only need to use a very small amount of that oil to maybe massage into your face and down your neck and on your shoulders and on your arms. And that would really help you have more of an induced sleep. It would make you feel a lot more relaxed. Putting some on the soles of your feet is a really great way for it to get into your system too. So that's another great way to do that. But like I said, you need to obviously look at your own allergies. Please don't just go out there and start thinking you can mix everything together and it'll be great, because it really isn't. But look into them, research these sort of things yourself and make informed choices. But there are some things out there that you can make at home that are really worthwhile. There are a lot of places that sell these things already. There is a company called This Works and they do like pillow sprays and things like that. Their products are fantastic. They do cost money, but like I said, the more they cost generally, the better they are. So they're a really good company to use if you can't be asked for buying all the stuff yourself. So that's a really good idea, is to grab some of their products if you don't want to buy individual things and make stuff up. Another good tip as well is not just using herbs and oils in that sense, but you can use herbs to make teas. So you will find down your tea aisle in your supermarket, you will find quite a lot of sleepy teas. You'll see that there is becoming bigger ranges of these. They will find lavender teas, you'll find chamomile teas. You may even find valerian herb tea, which is a really, really great one for helping us induce relaxation. Helps ease anxiety, but very much so does help with your sleep pattern. So again, these are things that you could buy yourself and make yourself, but it is something that you would have to really look into to make sure you're checking for allergies, etc. I do tend to make a sleep mixture up, and in my sleep I use equal parts of dried lavender, dried rose petals, dried lemon balm and dried valerian as well. And then I use 1 teaspoon of that in a tea bag with some hot water. I only have one of those at night if I need it, but I rarely need it really nowadays. But it is a really good tonic if you are feeling that bit stressed and you don't feel like you can turn off or shut off at all. So that's a really great one to use there. Another one is also another herb that you could add into any sort of drinking is dried hops as well. So obviously that is the sort of a baseline of what a lot of beer and alcohol is made of, hence why it has that sort of sedative effect. I'm not condoning you go and get yourself drunk and crazy. I know a few of you are probably watching with a glass in hand, no names mentioned. But there is a sedative effect to hops, and you can buy that as a herb as well. So they are some good ones to look out for. I would primarily just suggest that you do start by buying the ones that are already pre-made in supermarkets, because you know what they've got in them, everything is listed. And also it's particularly a good way to test them and see which flavours you like, because if you're not into it, then at least you can give it to someone else. So another good top tip for making sure that you've got the right vitamins and minerals in your diet to help you sleep is to make sure you're taking enough magnesium in your diet. Now, magnesium is very good for relaxing your muscles, and it's also thought to have a positive effect on your sleep pattern too, and it can relieve stress. Now, stress is obviously a massive key player in keeping you awake at night. So magnesium is a really great tool that's naturally in a lot of foods that we could take more of to help us. Now, the foods that magnesium are in tend to be quite a lot of the leafy vegetables, so things like kale, really green vegetables, so like broccoli, anything like bananas and raspberries too. You can do some research online on what magnesium is most prolifically in, but that's a really good thing to take into your diet to help you with your sleep pattern. So that is magnesium. If you find that you can't be bothered to be making all these perfect meals with the perfect mineral vitamin content, then fair enough. You can get magnesium as a supplement from different shops as well. So again, have a little bit of a research online on what would suit you best regarding that. But magnesium is a top thing that you need to have in your diet to help with a good sleep pattern. My other top tip, as you mostly all know, because I'm a little bit weird and witchy, would be meditation and relaxation music. Now, online on YouTube, there are some great pages that do a lot of meditation, guided meditations for sleep. They also have ambient music as well, which can help induce sleep. And these all have a sort of binaural beats that are specific frequencies that help trigger releases in the brain that will help with easing you into a relaxed state. They would also help you with feeling probably less anxious too. So they're really good to look for. So if you went onto YouTube, there are a few people that I would really recommend for these sort of things. So you've probably heard me mention the Honest Guys before. They do a lot of guided meditation. So if you're into that, you can utilise them. Jason Stevenson is huge on YouTube. He's very well renowned for a lot of his meditational work. He does a lot of meditations and music with certain beats and frequencies to help with things like sleep and anxiety. Neil Cooper is another favourite of mine. He's a little bit weird and wonderful, but I do love him. He does some great sort of Reiki-based meditations too. And if you're just after the music side of things, because not everybody likes to hear somebody waffling on in their ear when they're trying to go to sleep at night, I recommend trying out Ambient Worlds and New Bliss. They are both on YouTube. And not only do they have some beautiful scenery with some of these, so if you're just chilling in the evening, you could probably just pop that on and watch that in your living room just for half an hour before you go upstairs to bed. They have a lot of things based on certain stories, certain Disney things as well, but it's all very mystical and very beautiful imagery to go with both of those. But again, the key part is that the music behind it has these frequencies to help induce rest and calm. So they are The Honest Guys, Jason Stevenson, Neil Cooper, Ambient Worlds and New Bliss. So go and check those guys out. And one last thing that I am going to show you now is pressure points for helping you sleep. So the first one that I'm going to show you is on your hand. I might use this hand because it doesn't look as dermatitis-y as that one. So this pressure point is called the inner frontier. Don't ask me why. I'm not a clue, but it's an interesting name. Now, you need to use your finger to measure 3. Don't look at that infill, mind. You all think your nails are bad. If you go 3 down, you will feel a little indent in the middle here. Just between, just in the centre there, there's almost a little indent. If you massage that in a circular motion for about 10 seconds, and then move on to the other hand and do the same. Do it for about 10 seconds on each hand and alternate up to 5 times on both hands. And that can really help induce your melatonin to help you with your circadian rhythms and make you feel a bit more sleepy. But also it can, again, like I said, with most of these things that help with sleep pattern, will help release anxiety, etc. as well. So that is your inner frontier gate, which has most randomest name, I do know. So you just pop there. So you would do 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. Same, and go back between both hands and do it 5 times on each hand, okay? And then the final one that I'm going to show you, pressure point, I'm going to put my hair up to show you this one, which I know sounds all dramatic. Doesn't sound that dramatic at all, Marie. So this one's called the wind pool. Again, don't ask me why. So first thing you need to do is to link your hands like so, and you've got your thumbs free. Now carry on watching until I've done this. Hopefully you will be able to see the back of my neck. And just rest your hands at the very base of your head there where you can feel the dippy. And then your thumbs will just sit gently there. Hopefully you can see that. I will move every each way because obviously I can't see if you can see that. Tell me if you can see it. Can you see that, guys? There we go. So, like I said, the wind pool. So, if you give that area a rub there, circular motions again, 10 seconds, come off it for 30 seconds, go back on it. I'd say up to 5 times in an hour, and that is enough. So that one is really good, again, for helping with aiding relaxation. It's also really good if you're suffering with a cough. Controversial, I know, but if you have got a cough, and a lot of people at this time of the year may be suffering with allergies as well, and you will find that in the evenings and late afternoons, like myself, I start thinking, oh, I've got a sore throat, I've got, you know, it feels irritated. It's your allergies, okay? So if you rub that area, the wind pool at the back of the neck, that can really help relieve a cough, which also is another thing that can keep you awake at night, of course. So not only is it good for anxiety, sleep, it's good for coughs and asthma too, okay? And it is, yes, like Nicole's just said, it feels lovely. It's actually really relaxing. And a lot of people, when they get tension headaches and strains and stress there, rubbing that area actually really releases all of that area. It feels really relaxing. So I'll just go back through the pressure point that we did before. So the inner frontier gate. So just about here, small circular motions. I don't know why I had to do that tune then. Feeling a bit crazy today. Okay, 5 to 10 seconds in the same position. And do it about 5 times on each hand, okay? You don't want to overwork it. You're not going to suddenly just, like, you know, fall asleep instantly. But, you know, with a lot of pressure point work, sometimes it's not the harder, the deeper, the better. Quite often it can be a case of just, yes, firm, but not breaking your wrist firm, but just working it in a very controlled way. So like I said to you, I'll just run back over very quickly the few bits that I did mention. So the first main thing is your blue light. So like I said, you will see I'm lifting that up and down, so that blinded you all, I'm sure. So that light that gives off on your phone, your laptop, computers, television, etc., etc., will affect your circadian rhythms, which are responsible for your sleeping pattern. So if you can try and minimize how much screen time you have in the later evening before going to bed, that is brilliant, because otherwise you're tricking your brain into thinking it's daylight. Hence why when you're then led in bed and you can't go to sleep for 2 hours, it's because your brain's only just getting into evening mode, because you've still got that light going on behind your eyes. The other thing is caffeine. Sorry guys, try some decaf products, because you can't taste the difference. Personally, I don't think. Also because they do have, some people can find that caffeine is a trigger for migraines, some find that it does help. So each their own. I know everybody's different on migraines, but really make sure that your caffeine is not getting too out of control. And you'd be surprised how much caffeine is in certain things with some of it. So like I said, with your oils as well, essential oils that you can use, lavender, chuck it about on your pillows, couple of drops there, couple of drops even in your bath or in an oil burner, couple of drops on your hands, inhale it. It's amazing the properties it can do. You really don't want to use too much of it, because also it goes the other way. Lavender, there are so many different types of lavender. If you're looking for a lavender oil, lavender augustifolia is your one. That is the main one that's really good quality, but also quite mainstream too. You only need a couple of drops of it, because actually lavender, if you use too much of it, can have the adverse effect and actually give you energy. So be mindful when you're using these things, but also you will know what works for you once you've done a few nights with using them. Like I said, clary sage oil and chamomile oil are really good too. It's really good because a lot of these things you will find are in actually baby bath products as well. So you know that Johnson's do like a baby range. They have ones that I think got lavender and chamomile in. So maybe try some of that sort of stuff. If you don't really want to mix any of it yourself, that's great. And like I said, herbal teas. Again, you can mix your own. If you want to start off with the simpler options, because, you know, blending your own stuff can be quite daunting initially and you think, oh, I need every herb there is. Trust me, I know. There is a great section in most of your supermarkets now where you will have herbal teas, and they will have nighttime teas, they'll have sleepy time teas, they'll have all these elaborate names. So have a look, you know, if something's got valerian in, that's a really key one. Valerian's a really good sedative, okay? So take a look for those teas. Going back through the vitamins and minerals, magnesium is making sure you've got plenty of magnesium in your system. So looking at things like raspberries, bananas, kale, broccoli, there's loads. There is loads of different foods. So have a little research online. And like I said, supplements of these would be a really good thing if you don't feel like you're very aware of how much intake you're actually taking in your food. The other one is obviously the music and relaxation. So obviously I've said to you not to use your phones or devices. Now most of us are lucky enough to have like an automatic robot that sits in the corner of the room called I'm sorry if anything's triggered, Alexa, Siri or Google. If you've got one in your bedroom in the corner, you can shout at Google, I'll say it quietly so she don't hear, and ask them to play this, or you can find it on your phone and then stream it over, then put your phone down. You can tell her, Google or whatever her name is over in the corner, to turn off in 30 minutes, and she will do. So that's a great way if you can utilise those devices in your bedroom, but make sure everything else is turned off. And then the pressure points, like I said, the inner frontier gate, which is weird, I know, this one. And then the wind pool. Remember, link your hands, back of your neck, base of your skull, and just massage that point there. Particularly good if you suffer as well with headaches and migraines, okay? So if you have got any questions about anything I've told you tonight, there is loads and loads more I could tell you, but we'd probably be here for hours, and I'm very much aware that at 8 p.m. we have to go out and clap for the NHS and all of the key workers and all of the carers and everybody, so that's what we'll be finishing in a couple of minutes. I just want to say to you all, if there is anything that you feel like you want any more help with, I do offer a one-to-one consultation online, which is like a virtual chat like this, for 30 minutes for £10, which I can talk you through some other pressure points. I can talk you through some other sort of techniques and tips that you can do at home. If it's suffering with anything like sleep, anxiety, stress and depression, then I'm more than happy to do these one-to-one chats with you. And it's a really great way to connect with people and make it a lot more personal. So everything I've told you tonight is very, you know, worthwhile for a lot of people, but there may be some things you think, oh, I've tried most of that. Is there anything else? So if you are interested in that, please just drop me a message as well. And I will put this video, store it into the Facebook group where you're watching it now, so you can watch it back. And also, if you've got any questions, just drop them down below and I will message you back privately and just give you any sort of helpful info that I can think of, okay? So I hope that's all been useful for you. I'm glad you've all managed to find it, because obviously technology wasn't my friend today. We were meant to be on Zoom, so we've ended up here, which just seems to have worked. So thank you all for joining. I hope you've all been able to hear me. You've all followed it. I hope you've all found something that's been of some use to you. And I shall see you all again next week. I'm sure I'll have another one up my sleeve for you. Stay safe, stay happy, and I love you all. Bye.